So the race started pretty crazy in the beginning, and the car in front didn't know that it should be a neutral start, so it just went off, and then there was an attack after an attack after an attack in the beginning already, so it was pretty tough. People just attacked all the time, and the speed was pretty high, and people are complaining, as you can see here as well. I tried to push forward to get as far front as possible without using too much energy because I wanted to not get caught off in a corner or end in a crash in the early start. And when the group is so big in the beginning, there is such a far distance from the back till the front. So I really tried to stay as far forward as possible here in the beginning. And as you can see here, there didn't really happen anything much more here in the beginning. The two guys in the front are discussing a little bit about how it should be righted. Of course, people always complain in some way, I think. And these guys are just talking about the different things in terms of what you're supposed to do in the beginning and stuff like that with riding and staying on the ride when there's cars coming and everything. So I like to hear a little bit of gossip while I try to hang on with the limit I had and the power I had in my legs. I also got a little chat with some guys in the peloton, but as you can see on the right side of the video, there was an attack, and I watched if anyone would join as well. So I speeded up and tried to catch it up, so I didn't get left back with if it was a good group to be created in the future. So I speed up, tried to push the battles as hard I could to catch up to him, and then I turned into the right because I could see there were people coming from the back, and then I think it could be a coordinated task to catch this guy, and then the speed really got increased in this moment, I would say so, and then new attacks come as well. So as I mentioned earlier, the beginning was really hectic, so many attacks here and there, and people trying to get in front, and here I just stay in cover from the wind. It was really windy this day. It was so massive peak wind, I would say, and you really had to keep your hands on the handlebar because it was so aggressive, the wind. I also saw two crashes, and one of them was because of the wind. Took the front wheel from another driver, another rider. Yeah, so it's really important when there's much wind to be careful with this, I would say. And here we came to a corner that was quite crucial. I tried to get forward, but I cut the turn pretty bad, the corner pretty bad. So as you can see, people are just starting to increase the speed through the forest here. I really tried to catch up in this section because I knew there was a group to be created in front of it. But in this case, I sticked on, and the pace got a little off in the front. A guy here came really close to my handlebars, and people are flying around right and left all the time here. Then I tried to stay here again. There was some acceleration again, and I really tried to push the power to stay up in front and see what would happen because the wind is so aggressive, and it's really important to stay in a group instead of just riding on your own. So I try to keep the wheels of the people around me to save as much energy in this case as well. And there's so many different people, also some people getting pretty close, I would say. Here I saw a gap being created, so I tried to really push some watch into the pedals to stick to the back wheel of the guys in front of me here. But unfortunately, as you can see a little bit later, I didn't manage to catch the wheels of them, and I ended up in between two groups, and that's pretty tough when the wind is really aggressive. So here I really just tried to keep the pace and see what would happen, and then a guy came in front of me, and then I accelerated to keep his wheel. And try to stay with them because there was a group being created. So it's just really important to not get dropped off here, for me at least. And as you can see here, I'm pretty burned out in the beginning because the pace was so high and there's a gap, of course, into the front, as you can see here, and I didn't manage to catch it. This was a really tough time for me in the race because I really wanted to go with the first group here, but I just couldn't get into the wheel of the guy in front of me, and I used so much power, so much energy in this phase to try to catch him. I get really close here, but then again the pace just get increased in front, and then I managed to drop this wheel again around here because we are hitting some pretty crazy wind again here. And then yeah, I'm in no man's land, and that's pretty dangerous when you ride a bike because you use so much energy. But yeah, I really tried to push to stay with him, but I really couldn't. Yeah, so here I'm looking back because I could see some guys are coming up to me, and then I think it would be more wise to follow with a group instead of just mashing all the energy out in the beginning of the race on my own. So yeah, waited to some guys came from the back and could coordinate a group with them, and then it would be a little bit easier to ride the race, I would definitely say. So in this case, I'm talking with a guy that caught up with me, that also kind of died in middle of nowhere, and I told him that I would help a little bit now because I really use so much energy when trying to catch the front group. So I just need a minute or two on his back wheel before starting to do turns as well. But as you can see here, I also do my turns in the group to get some coordinated power, coordinated energy to catch the people in front. And remember to use signs whenever it turns so people can see it and point in the road if you see any holes. That's really important to remember. I can't actually remember how many guys we were in this group, but during the race in this group, we catched up on more or less, I think it was 15 people or maybe 20 people during the ride because we were a group that actually wanted to push a bit. And then, yeah, those who tried to follow the front group but couldn't manage, yeah, dropped off and we cut them. And as you can see here, we just do different turns on the bulls. Some do more than others, and some do nothing. And that's quite common in a group that some people don't really help in the front work. As you can see here, this is the first guys we catch up with that couldn't follow the front group. So yeah, we already picked up some people quite early in the race because they also managed to start out a little bit too hard. And as you can see here, the guys are talking, and these are also the two guys I'm trying to do an attack on later in the race because these two guys know each other. So it's pretty awesome to do some attacks with people, especially in this crazy wind. So yeah, I'm just trying to follow the wheel here and also save energy, but also do my turns in terms of keeping the pace up so we can catch people in front of the race. As you can see, this guy is actually quite much in the video because he do lots of pulls, but I also coordinated with him on stuff I would like to do in the race. And unfortunately, later in the race, when we would like to attack, he got a puncture. I think actually that when we got back into the finish line, I met him and he said he got like 3 punctures or something like that. Quite sad, I would say. But yeah, he did really great in the group and pushed quite a good speed. And that's also always amazing to have some people in the group. And as you can see here, you also do signs on where to go. Of course, most people have it in their cycling computer, but it's always pretty nice to get shown and people show signs also when standing up or holes in the ground or whatever it can be. But as you can see here, he's pushing quite hard, also out of the corners. So yeah, I tried just to follow here, and then I take some turns later as well. In this moment, I'm in a breakaway with one guy. We started as 4 guys, but they didn't manage to follow. So we did turns, him and I. But then the pace was maybe a little bit too high, and then I did go on my own here. But the wind was so crazy. I tried to push as hard as I could here because we got a quite nice gap to the group behind us. So I really tried the effort here. A too tough effort in the solo breakaway when I did go on my own cost me quite some positions in the end because I didn't manage to follow the group when they caught up with me because I got cramps in both of my legs. But I got 33 overall and 10 in my age group, which was pretty satisfying. Yeah, I think it was a good group and a good race, and the everything was really really nice. And I definitely wish to get back to this race next year because it was really amazing setting, I would say.